By now, it has been said multiple times that Biden is going to take our guns. Most brush it off as another anti-Biden statement, or write it off as completely irrational because of America's Second Amendment. If you fit in one of those two categories, then I have something very important to tell you. In 2008, after Hurricane Katrina decimated the city, the mayor of New Orleans decided that much had to be done for the safety of the public. Mayor Negin, a member of Michael Bloomberg's gun control group named Mayors Against Illegal Guns at the time, decided that public safety included confiscating lawfully owned firearms from New Orleans citizens. To do so, the former mayor used both local police forces and active military members to storm law-abiding Americans' homes, handcuffing the residents of said home, searching for and seizing all firearms. The confiscation was finally deemed unconstitutional and illegal in 2014, following a lawsuit filed by the National Rifle Association that led to the criminal conviction of Mayor Negin for corruption, bribery, and fraud charges. This isn't a case of whether this will happen here on American soil or not. This has already happened, and it will happen again. Just like Negin, Biden and company will frame the confiscation as necessary for public health and safety. Remember those FEMA teams we discussed in part 1 of Biden's big COVID restriction announcement speech? He already has strike teams prepared and at the ready. Biden has introduced a national red flag law that permits the government to take all firearms of a person suspected or reported having suicidal tendencies, dangerous mental health issues, or homicidal desires. California recently passed or is going to pass a similar law not too long ago or not too far in the future. Most likely following the events of Operation Dark Winter, after the chaos has reached catastrophic proportions, it will say that crime has run rampant and declare a state of emergency, an epidemic of crime. They will say that they can no longer let firearms be used illegally and must take them for the greater good of the public. Then, along with vaccine teams to either jab or arrest, they will march to our homes, treat us like criminals, and take our freedoms. If we resist, we'll be arrested, and who knows what they'll do behind closed doors. They could even jump the gun, pun intended, and try to take them before the blackout portion of Dark Winter begins, so that more Americans will be defenseless when the fire rises. But out of the two, post-Operation Dark Winter is when they will likely begin their crusade. So what do we do? How do we prepare? I can only inform you and teach you how to overcome these obstacles. You must make the decision for yourself and your family to employ these tactics, or ignore them altogether. Biden has stated that he will sign an agreement to join the corrupt United Nations International Gun Registration Database so that they can track each and every firearm that has been purchased or sold around the world. Why would they want to track who owns firearms? So that they can confiscate them whenever they choose. Thus our objective is simple: avoid and outsmart their databases. Giving them our firearms is not an option. It took the New Orleans citizens 6 years to receive any kind of justice. That's 6 years we simply don't have. 6 years we can't afford to spend waiting for the government to do the right thing. As of right now, as far as I understand, there is no national firearms database. However, the globalists are pushing for that national database as we speak. Each local or state governmental power would have to look through personal files to find firearm purchases of a particular individual. In other words, their methods are extremely archaic and require a decent amount of time to complete, versus just plugging your name in a computer system. With that being said, there are a few methods we can use to beat these globalists at their own game. First, you can acquire firearms through private party transfer, PPT. PPT allows for private citizens to buy, sell, or trade firearms without needing to visit a federal firearms license, FFL, holder to conduct a background check and register your gun. All that is needed is to find a seller, contact that seller, and purchase the gun. An excellent website that I personally use is armslist.com. It's like the Craigslist of the gun world. I have linked the website on my Getter account. After you find a seller and agree upon a public and safe place to meet, more than likely they will require you to show identification, fill out a bill of sale for their personal record, and then let you on your merry way. Okay, that is how you would usually purchase a firearm through a private party in a non-Orwellian time period. However, we are dealing with a government that wants absolute control and power, so we can use this loophole to our advantage to stay out of their system. First, buy a ghost phone to contact the seller that only requires a driver's license for identification. Then purchase an authentic, fake driver's license online in the state you want to purchase the gun from. I would recommend purchasing in either Texas, Florida, or Arizona, or a state with similar private party transfer laws which don't require a visit to a gun shop to register the firearm. Make sure your fake driver's license has no real information on it besides your picture. Make it look as real as possible as far as it is in your power. To go the extra mile, leave your regular phone at home, and if possible, do not drive a car with license plates linked to your personal information. See my Ghost Gun Build Part 2 for instructions on how to do so. Pay the seller with cash only. Sign all the paperwork with your assumed identity, then head home. Note: firearms purchased using this method are not to be used for concealed carry in normal day-to-day settings. These are only for your rainy day stash. I'll cover concealed carry in the near future. This next method allows you to sell your current firearms. Simply download the private party transfer documents from the ATF website for your state. Fill out the paperwork for both you and the assumed buyer, and keep the paperwork in hand for when they come to confiscate. This method works best in free states, so Californians, it will be best to follow the first method and purchase from Arizona. And if you want my personal opinion, go to Arizona and stay there. California is about to go absolutely crazy in the very near future. Get out while you still can. The third method is getting them off the street. I do not recommend purchasing from a street dealer because you simply don't know how involved the police are or the shady people you will meet or run into. You could unknowingly walk into a sting, get arrested and booked, have your biometric information entered into the local and state criminal database that the federal government can call upon at a moment's notice. At that point, it's game over. You lose. Street dealers in general open you up to all sorts of attention and drama that can easily be avoided using the first two methods. But if you have a dealer you trust with your freedom, then more power to you. Lastly, everyone needs to have a hiding place for your weapons. Under your bed isn't good enough. Get creative, and be sure to hide them away from your house if possible. They won't go digging into your backyard or underneath the doghouse. Anywhere that you would check for firearms should be the last place you hide them. The idea behind all of this is that they can only confiscate that which they know exists. Again, purchase ammunition and additional parts with cash or using the concealed purchasing method I discussed in one of my previous videos. Let me be very clear. When they do this, when they come for us law-abiding citizens who only desire to live our lives free from rule of other men, when they come seeking to trample upon our civil liberties and freedoms, the Second American Revolution has begun, and World War III is well underway. Now, the men and women who they send to take our firearms are not our enemy. They are merely doing their job, as corrupt as it is. That is why we don't attack them or resist. We merely conceal our true stash of firearms and weapons, so that they do their jobs and return home safely, and we avoid a potentially fatal encounter with the law and continue to keep our freedoms. This may sound extreme to some of you, but the truth is, firearms mean freedom. Without them, we aren't citizens, we're subjects. No offense meant, but look at Australia. They surrendered their firearms years ago. There's a reason they were the first to announce compliance with the New World Order agenda. Or look at Canada. Currently, their government is seeking to ban all assault-level weapons, including airsoft guns. Why? Because they know that firearms equal the playing field, which is exactly why we need to take these drastic measures to protect our defenses. When the lights go out and the sirens stop, when the food is taken from the shelves and the water dries in the faucet, when the glass of local convenience stores shatter, when voices raise from desperate arguments, when gunshots ring out followed by bone-chilling screams that can be heard for miles, when the children cry out for help to a society that no longer is listening, it is up to you to defend yourself, your family, your home, your land, and your community. No one is coming to save you. But following the methods discussed above, you will have the power to save yourselves. Prepare your home mentally, physically, and spiritually for what's coming next. Until then, Parabellum.